The Holy Father's heart for the marginalized is clear in the first major writing of his pontificate, an apostolic exhortation dedicated to the gospel's call to love the poor. The Vatican released Dilexi Te, Latin for I have loved you, on Thursday. Through 5 chapters, Pope Leo writes how we are not just called to serve our impoverished brothers and sisters, but to see them as evangelists who can teach us to rely on God. He highlights the importance of almsgiving, but also emphasizes the poor's vital need for spiritual care. EWTN News senior Vatican analyst Frank Rocca explains that an exhortation like Leo's is all about pastoral practicals.
An apostolic exhortation is typically more practical. It's an exhortation, it's an encouragement, and it's sort of encouraging us to take this doctrine of the love for the poor and apply it and how to do that.
This exhortation is a work of 4 hands, meaning Pope Leo finished a writing that his predecessor, the late Pope Francis, began in the final months of his life. The Vatican does not specify which pope wrote which sections. During a press conference, Cardinal Michael Czerny emphasized that the document is 100% Francis and 100% Leo. To break down now the first major document of Pope Leo XIV's pontificate, we are joined from Rome by Hannah Brockhaus, EWTN Deputy Vatican Editor. Hannah, thanks for being with us. First, what stood out to you from Dilexi Te?
Thanks, Catherine. Something that stood out to me about this document is how incredibly simple it is in its direction to Christians. It's not a political document. It's absolutely something theological and spiritual and addressing you and me and what we can do to help people, whether that's on the local level or even if it means fighting for injustice, even at the institutional or governmental level. However, he's not addressing nations directly.
And Hannah, we know that this document was largely written under Pope Francis's pontificate, but what does Dilexi Te signal about Pope Leo's priorities, and do we know at all how much of this document he wrote?
We don't know who wrote which parts, and as was mentioned earlier in the program, Cardinal Czerny, who is the Vatican's cardinal on main cardinal on this issue of poverty, said we should really just read it completely as Pope Leo's. He signed it. He has taken it into his magisterium, his teaching of his pontificate. So we don't know exactly who wrote each parts, but I think that's a great signal about Leo's dedication to showing a continuity between him and his predecessor. He doesn't want this to be seen as some sort of rupture now with him and the last Pope, Pope Francis, but he wants to show that the same issues that were in the heart of Francis are also on his heart.
Hannah, I spoke with the national president of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul USA for his reaction to Dilexi Te. Here's what he had to say.
This document is so powerful in the sense that it not only just says, go serve the poor, go help the poor, give alms, but it talks about the fundamental need to not only help the poor, but to advocate for the poor and to make efforts to change systems and policies that are keeping people poor and preventing them from becoming successful.
Hannah, care for the poor is a core belief of Christianity that has been with us since the Gospels and the start of the church. Jesus was very clear. We must care for the poor for the sake of our own soul. So does this apostolic exhortation provide a new understanding on this or advance it with a new teaching? What is something we have not heard from the church before when it comes to caring for the impoverished?
I actually think that this document does a little bit of the opposite. Rather than being something brand new that none of us have heard before, it's more of a reminder of how deeply steeped the church is in this teaching of caring for the poor, loving the poor. The document spends a lot of time going back and reminding us that starting with Christ, who himself became poor, the church has always served the poor, but also welcomed them into our communities, that they were one of us. And it's also a great reminder, maybe this is less, not so much new, but just a good reminder of how much we receive as well. So it's not only the poor who receive from us and should be given good things and aid by us, but that we, the giver, can also receive grace, can also receive things in return, especially a spiritual and an evangelization from them.
Absolutely. Hannah, just before this interview, we reported on Pope Leo's message this week to those who are advocating for migrants in the U.S. How is that message in line with what he writes in this first apostolic exhortation?
Pope Leo takes a really broad view of who is marginalized, who is the poor, and how he defines that. And so in this document, he includes migrants and refugees, especially those who are forced to migrate from their home countries. And he says that they are deserving of our welcoming, of our help, that they are a kind of poor as well. And he talks about the structures and the issues in their home countries as well, the structures of injustice that we can try to help correct that force people to flee their homes.
Finally, Hannah, while I have you, I do want to address other major news from the Vatican. The Vatican announced this week Pope Leo will visit Turkey and Lebanon in late November in the first apostolic journey of his pontificate. What is the significance of this trip and these specific sites?
Well, first of all, it's another sign of continuity, right, with the pontificate of Pope Francis. So these were both trips to Lebanon and to Turkey that Pope Francis wanted to make but was unable to before his last illness and death. So Leo is taking those back up and saying, okay, I'm the Pope now, and I'm going to travel to those places. In Turkey, the concentration will be on Christian unity as he celebrates the 1700th anniversary of the Council of Nicaea this year. But then in Lebanon, it will be an excellent chance for him to promote peace and bring a message of peace in the Middle East to the people of the Middle East.
Very much needed. Hannah Brockhaus, grateful for you as always. Thank you.